we ask people to start putting in for cycle events. We've done honeymoons. As a matter of fact, John Schumacher, back, we actually put on his and his wife's wedding. Adapted vehicles, we're building an off-road truck for a guy. Team contest, we did a thing for Camp Pendleton. We pitted all the military against each other in an MMA tournament. Slip. It's kind of funny that way. We've paid bills, we paid rent, given gifts for kids. We helped John and his cups of coffee. Sometimes people ask for the simplest things, and it might just be buying a veteran a cup of coffee to say thank you. There's only so much thanks that I know how to say, and that's one of them is, you know, and then the biggest one, goodbyes. I sent my stepdad and one of his good friends for the 101st, and I remember watching it on television, crazy, and here he was walking this hymn, and he was walking the wreath up to the Vietnam War. Back were quite interesting, but then again, I let two Vietnam veterans loose in Washington, D.C., so that's kind of expected. One couldn't tell the other direction because one can't hear out of a certain ear and the other one can, and they're trying to read a map, which I don't know where that went. So final goodbyes. So from there, we decided to build the Global War on Terror Wall of Remembrance, which is our traveling memorial that was Beirut. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Yeah, there it is. Beirut, Gulf War, here at the Nixon Library. That east hallway that you into the room, that wall's entire length of that is a little over 100 feet. It's 100 feet by 6 feet. One of the names of all 10,586 of our, that includes civilians. The timeline that runs from 19 barracks in Beirut, and soon, of course, we had France on there, adding other situations that occur. So we decided to build here's our impact. This is a moment that was supposed to go up once. It went up on 9/11, and it was supposed to go up that pursued me, and if heaven help the enemy, if the Marines pursue their enemy as hard as he pursued me to get this memorial put up at Cypress College. Our live stream right now, which is what's Derek hard. He wanted to take it around the country. If you'll drive it, then we'll do it. And I went, no, okay, now I got to figure out how to do that. So we took the memorial around the country. We've been setups, 206 days of display, almost, actually just about 5 visitors come to the memorial now. We've over 2,400 escort rides around the country. We've done a total of 85 miles. Vet Center interventions, if you guys have seen outside, we actually have the mobile here. So if you actually need after this event or in between breaks, please go out and speak to the Vet Center. They put the money in their budget to bring it out here today. One on-site interventions with the mobile vet centers, which is amazing. I don't know if you've been around 9 suicide preventions. And that's people that have called phones as Derek and I are going down the road, us, that they don't know that they're going to make it around tomorrow. Next slide real quick. We're going to be building a new memorial that can actually withstand that we need to get out there and we need to get to. One that we're going to be building that should be up soon, that's a mobile that has twin 9 towers on both ends. It's structural and more well-built, 75-mile-an-hour winds, 27 inches per hour, all the wonderful stuff that he. What we've done is, through this, we found once we leave town, services kind of either slow to a war memorial, the Vietnam Wall, any of the walls, any of the memorials. We basically rip your chest open, do motions, and leave an open, gaping wound when we leave town. And if there's not somebody there to nurture that, stop the bleeding, and help heal that wound, line called 888 Vet to Vet, which is a helpline. It's a peer-to-peer helpline. It's not government, it's not recorded, it's 100% anonymous. Veterans can volunteer to answer phone calls because it is not a number. You know, you watch the news, something really made you mad, whatever it is, and you just need an ear and there's nobody close that understands, to where you can call and get somebody on the other end of the phone that understands, which is the most important thing. And in this case, it's a peer-to-peer hotline. It's, again, what it does is it rings 100 cell phones of veteran volunteers. It's an online format that we had 100, and the next 100, and the next 100, and it does that for 500. And when it goes to their vet help as the caller ID, so you know a veteran's calling for help. You know that one of them somebody needs to talk. Stage 1 is when we have 500 volunteers open up the lines, which should be by this coming actually Memorial Day. And it's going to put you Stage 3, when we have 500 female volunteers, we're actually going to allow it to be press 1 go through. And that's on both sides. So stage 4, we're going to be adding secure line, or what they call HIPAA line, they're face to face. So it'll just be a kind of a progression as we go. Anyway, that's what Rear Area Support Foundation does. 3, because Jimmy likes to raise his hand back there. Jimmy will be on the next panel. On my notes here. I'm going to introduce the first panel, and the first panel is going to be based on benefits. And it'll be covering your college benefits, home loans, and we have some incredible experience that's coming to stage. Tanya McCowan, she actually, people do it on almost no budget. It's amazing. Christy Davis with Cypress College. She's one of the beta sites for Veterans Resource. Again, the experience is unbelievable. And then you got Jimmy Gahn. Jimmy is he's a Navy veteran, volunteer with VA Rep. Who's back there in the back if you have a question with them, who is also the company that gave Derek a house. Because Derek started up with us and was on a couch since he was like 3 years old and never had a bedroom. Matter of fact, the first time he had the house, he called me when he got the house and he goes, "I'm sleeping in the living room." And I go, "Why? You have a bed in a bedroom." And he goes, "I can't sleep." He goes, and I'm not used to that. So he slept on the first couple of months, he slept on the couch in his house out in Cal City. And then Michael Colby. Michael is assistant service controlled. Your mics should be live, and there's switches on them, you guys. So if you have to have a conference with each other or talk to each other, then you can go ahead and flip them off. College aspects, come back to you for all the other veteran benefits to wrap up. Okay?
Good morning. My name is Michael Colby. I'm out of the San Diego Regional Office. We're proud to serve the veterans, and we take a lot of pride in the fact that over 86% of our employees at the San Diego Regional Office are veterans. As far as the Montgomery GL San Diego Regional Office, but they're all processed through the wants to that has questions or needs those benefits with them. And just real quick here, briefly, if I may, I just wanted to say that for our veteran population, we serve both Riverside, Imperial, and Orange County. It comes out to over 500,000 veterans. That's 2.2% nationally. Compensation and pension recipients.
Guide them to our PTSD counselor for some extra services. And we are in our community a lot with a lot of the different services that are here today. We work with OC Goodwill a lot. We have CalVet on our campus. We have various workshops for our students. And then we do have a campus, and we do other events to recreate the camaraderie between our veterans. So we're out there servicing our community as well. We refurbished the Cypress Senior Center. We redid rooms. And we're out there at the Ronald McDonald House. We'll be serving lunch at the Fish
classes and things like that. We have mental health services. We have Vietnam Veterans of America come in, AMVETS, all sorts of different, exactly pretty much what Christy said. We were very fortunate to also be one of the pilots through the high-tech center training unit, and we went from an area that was about the size of a closet to maybe the size of a large bedroom, and immediately outgrew that. They gave us another, and it was like you would walk into these rooms and there were so many veterans in there, you didn't think that there was any oxygen left in the room. So fortunately we had one more room that we could knock a door through, and so now we have 3 separate rooms. We have a counseling area, we have a camaraderie area, and we have a study area. I think that it's very, very beneficial to the veterans on campus. It's utilized immensely, and I think every college out there, if they don't have one, they should have one. And I think we all should be beating on the doors of the state to get funding for those Veterans Resource Centers, because they're very.
Christy, if you can you kind of reference for them, walk them through a veteran's experience as to coming onto campus. Christy, if you want to take the lead on that, and them finding the resource center, and if you could just walk them through that part of it.
I think, so finding the veterans, being able to find the Veterans Resource Center first off when you first get on campus is probably the best bet because they're going to want to go right there. It's filled with people who are familiar and been through some of the similar experiences. So just kind of what they experience, or?
Yeah, just what you check for when they first get there, what they should bring with them, what they should have, the entry process.
Basically, when they call or they come in, we immediately ask for their DD-214 because they do get private registration. And then we sit down. Our VRCs are staffed with work studies. So our work studies in my VRC, the work studies actually handle the intake process down with the vet, and they will go through a checklist. And in that checklist, they'll collect things like DD-214, a certificate of eligibility if they have one at that point. I think it's a less stressful situation because making that vet feel at ease.
The work study students are vets too.
Yeah, the work vets too, by the way. Sorry, I didn't. The VA has a work study program, and that's basically how we're able to run our VRCs is because we're able to hire those veteran work studies. And we get them in to see the academic counselor so that that are needed for their major. We also have them go through a academic and life success course, and it goes through.
What's that you've seen on having a Veterans Resource Center on campus versus the campuses that you've been to? Because I know you guys have a specific region that gets together, and they talk about what's the impact like for the veteran on campus, maybe a case that you've seen where they've come on and in the outcome.
Well, I think the biggest they understand what I'm going through because they've
installation here in Southern California that provides that the same guidance and information to them so that we answer all of their questions. We try to make them as they're entitled to.
Christy, Tanya, what kind of activities do you guys put on for veterans in order to get them back into the social aspects of school, but you're also trying to get them to integrate back into the social aspects?
Students, they participate in several events on campus. They participate in Intercaminata. They bring in hundreds, like 700, 800, 900 kindergarten students on campus. They in World Day. Club, thank you, I can't think. Each club picks a different country on World Day, and it sets up in the quad, and we usually get America because we're...
As to whether or not they allow you to transfer the benefit to a spouse or your children. So it all depends.
Yes, we have had some dependents that will have the post 9/11 GI Bill benefits. There's a minimum, I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but there's a minimum years served. He did 1 year of community college and knock on wood, 4 months or whatever it is he has left. So in essence, quote, those will go to waste because he didn't serve enough time. But each branch does have, as far as I know, to transfer, but you can't have just done 4 and out. There's a lengthier time served. I've also, I believe Cypress has had, but we've had a couple of Fry Scholarship recipients. So we have had dependents come in to our Veterans Resource Center who one of their parents was given their parents' post 9/11 GI Bill. We treat them like they're the veteran. We don't care that they weren't the veteran. We still give them priority registration. They get every single benefit the veteran would have. I don't believe
child.
That was possible.
Okay.
The Vietnam veteran or the Vietnam era veteran, if they haven't used their benefits by now, they're long gone.
Yeah. 100% disabled veteran that his is actually utilizing the Vietnam Bill.
That's different. They didn't transfer the benefits. That's what they call, I don't remember the verbiage. But it's a dependent GI Bill.
Right, it's Chapter 35 benefits.
Exactly, Chapter 35, which is different than the post 9/11, than transferring your post 9/11.
For Chapter 35 benefits, for veterans who are 100% service their tuition and allow them to go to school.
And there's one other thing that I will say about California, which I think is awesome. We have the CalVet fee waiver. So again, using my son as an example, he has 2 daughters, and unless a governor takes it away between the state, their tuition would be housing, not any books, not other things, but tuition in itself can be huge. So that is something that the state of California has done, and so that I think we're one of the very few states
We have a situation in California because the Veterans Resource Centers test. They see how it went over in schools, and hopefully the UC system, California state system, and everything will recognize the revenue dollars that veterans bring to campus. I think when we actually go to college and utilize college, and they can utilize up to the military, an opportunity to have those secure environments to study, not worry about the person that's walking behind, to be concerned with who's in the study. You guys all joke with each other a different way. Some of the, well, you'd have to hear they're on because it's pretty funny. We're going to go over now to Jimmy Gahn, and Jimmy's going to run through his applications for the VA home loan, what he's run into, what he's gone through, comparison of home loan, VA home loan versus your standard conventional home loans, and what you need to ask the banks to do and what you need to have them put. So Jimmy, go ahead.
Hello. Oh, there we go. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for your service. Thank you very much. Actually, VA loan, I can sit up here and talk a little bit about it, but it's on a case. I mean, I see Linda back there, and they will attest. It's on the market. It's, in my opinion, your best benefit. As if we go around here in Orange County and educate the real estate professionals on the concept of the VA loan, and also Julie back there and Lana Baker, they're also on the board back there. Really, on the VA loan, it's got the lowest default. It's we've surpassed FHA on the amount of fundings that we've had. We've taken over on that. You can, depending on the lenders, there's really, excuse me, there really isn't any credit, but the lenders every lender is going to have something different. They're really limit. Can you have 2 VA loans going at one time? Yes. You have Tier 1 and Tier 2 VA loans. VA loan is also the only where when the appraiser goes out home, and if it doesn't appraise, he'll call the phone and ask you if you want to continue to move forward with that loan value, appraise the home. Conventional loans, they're not going to pick up the phone to call. They're going to do it, take their money, they're going to go about their business. Yeah, it was stuck together. So in my one of the best, if not the best, there's another lender back there. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. But once again, it is on a case-by-case basis and to actually get applied for the loan. It's best.
Right. And, any veteran served is entitled to apply for that benefit, and they get a certificate that attests to them. It puts the value on there. And a lot of times the veteran will look at that value and say, well, whoa, wait a minute, that's not going to get me much of a house. That's just a standard.
Hey, Jimmy, real quick. What do you see banking institutions? A lot of banking institutions shy away and go towards conventional loan, even with veterans, versus VA. What do you see? What's holding the banks back from actually utilizing the VA loans versus utilizing conventional loans? What's the gain?
Honestly, I kind of disagree with that question because I see more and more people. It's about educating our veterans. That's exactly what it is. Daniel sitting right here. He had no idea about using his own VA loan. Realtors and lenders, they're the ones that are afraid of using the VA loan, and the lender is. They're not educated on it, so that's what we at VA Rep are trying to do, is get out and educate these individuals, to educate this majority of group people, to go out and share that with our colleagues and our brothers in arms, to educate them and use your best benefit feasibly possible. It's not that the banks aren't using them. It's the best, once again, it's the best loan on the market, and they understand that.
Right now, I'm going through some of the other benefits that we need to touch base on that you might handle out of your office to up the benefits panel, and then we're going to go to some questions.
Yes. One of the things that, at the San Diego regional office and also the VA as a whole, is we made a big push these last, everybody's heard about it in the news media, about reduced backlog of our claims. Getting claims processed in 100 last year, we were able to reduce backlog. We were able to achieve that processed. The average days to completion is about 118. You have, the 1 and 2 claims that are out there still that are pending, that are longer than. Just want everybody to know that they're being hard to serve our. One of the other things is our big initiative is on homelessness among our veterans population, especially here in Southern California, because the weather is so nice. We have a large homeless veterans population. Most of our community The VA partners with our communities and with our local VHA partners to serve our homeless veterans. As you know, here in Orange County, they do the Orange County Census to try and get them off the street, to get them the benefits that they need, to get them into affordable housing. Those are the things that we're striving for right now. This year, our focus is on talking about appeals. Also, we're working on our dependency claims and reduce the number of dependency claims that we have pending. VA is committed to serving our veterans, the noblest mission in government. Myself, every day when I come to work, how fortunate I am to serve my fellow brothers and sisters that serve with me in the armed forces. I'll be glad to answer any questions that anybody has at the end of the panel. I know that you said we're going to have question and answers. So thank you.
Okay. You guys thank the panel real quick for me. I know that we're going to thank them at the end also. We're gonna be doing a little bit of town hall stuff. Some of the stuff we took questions actually off also. So I'm gonna take 3 or 4 questions, maybe 5 questions from the crowd, and the rest are some of the ones that we have from online. So as I told you, sir, if you can go ahead and stand up, you can ask your question about the home.
Yeah, Jimmy,
Yes, sir.
regarding the VA home, did I understand you to go ahead and say that utilizing that benefit for a home loan, you can only do once?
No, sir, that's
Okay.
you
that
can
wasn't
you can
me.
actually have 2 going at the same time. You can only utilize it one time. You can have 2 VA loans depending on the situation.
Yeah, because my wife and I both Marine Corps veterans.
Thank you.
Going back to the Vietnam era, I was Corps. We bought a home in Oceanside in the mid-'80s, utilized my benefit, go ahead and buy that home, finishing up payments on that. But when we were back in the Camp Lejeune area, we used my wife's benefit to go ahead and my wife got her VA certificate back, and we were with the understanding that we could go ahead and utilize, her benefit, to go ahead and buy another home.
You could have used both of your benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have the process of buying homes. Well,
Thank
no.
you
Maybe
for your
not
service.
California,
Thank you for your
but-
question.
Does it figure out how many credits they start?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why they see an academic counselor. So the academic counselor through all of their transcripts and their military transcripts, and then give them a full comprehensive, see what they've done, what they have left.
And also, if they haven't done any, they just have their dean, they're currently getting their PE credit. All community colleges aren't necessarily doing this, but also get credit for Area E, which is your life learning. So with the DD 214, you any other classes ever, you step foot on our campus, and you're going to HASA's already completed.
Thank you.
My name is Francisco Barragan. I served in the Marine Corps, and my daughter's mom served 15 years in the Army. My 2 questions, very general. Is there a percentage for waiving the VA funding loan?
10%. 10%.
10%.
Yes,
And
sir.
then, is there any advantage in financing through the VA program?
Do you currently have a VA loan? Yeah, there's always a benefit to using because you're going to have a much lower rate than you would going conventional, and your costs are going to be dramatically less because there's certain fees that you cannot pay for. So, yes.
Got a question?
Information from the veteran service to actually them getting to the campus. We do have a TAPS program that they add when they exiting the military. What I've noticed is there's still a gap in information now. I'm part of that. I went through the system, did myself, and I had a lot of help with all my family, my veteran family, helped me get through that. But is myself going through it as a way to help us close that gap in information, because the policy seems to be there to and the college as well. Is what do you guys see that we can do to close that gap?
Things that we do is at every major installation, as I said, we have military service coordinators that are there for their education benefits. We have during the TAP brief actually come in and give a presentation, letting them know where we're located, because it is a lot of information that they're being given. If you want that one-on-one counseling and stuff, they can come on down and see us. We've partnered with but every base that we have here in Southern California, we're getting in those TAP briefings, so that if they want that one-on counseling, they can get it. And then, of course, we also, encourage them to use the VOC rehab program, for those that are going through the disability evaluation system. That's a partnership with the VA and the Department of Defense that allows a service member that's been injured on active duty or has a serious illness to go ahead and get their, not only the retired pay, but their disability rating and everything completed prior to discharge. And we also then work and things of that nature. But that's how we're partnering and trying to bridge that gap now. When you're looking at separating, you go to those classes, but you're thinking about one job when I get out. What am I going to do to, about my education? Where am I going to live? That's one of the things that's striking to us right now is how many of our service members that are separating from are actually going. These are our young men and women, that are leaving the military after serving Afghanistan and Iraq. They have no place to go. Some of them are going back home to be with their parents, and they're not feeling comfortable fitting in there because they miss. And that's where I think some of the things that we've set up within our communities now with these community boards and things like that are establishing the local programs, such as the vet reps on campus, to help the service member feel integrated back into society.
Okay, I got 4 more questions we're gonna take out here, 12:30 this panel, so that everybody can have lunch, take a break, drink, that kind of stuff. And then we'll be coming back in for our legal panel. But I'm gonna get more from the audience here. I've got 2 over here and I've actually side.
Hey, JR.
Yeah.
The gentleman asked that question. Are you part of a TAPS program?
No, I'm not, but I would like to be part of it, through a counselor. If anybody has any information to get me set up to it, I'd love to be part of TAPS.
Right.
To actually present information that students and veterans should have. That way, with all those in place, there's still a lot of, still a big gap. So I'm just hoping to, like you said, close it. Counselor Lane is actually pushing forward this outreach program. So that's Counselor Lane's way of actually combating that. So I'm just seeing if there's anything else we can do to make that happen.
You can also touch base with Christy and Tanya afterward, and they can talk about their region and what they're doing and talk to them, because you guys can talk about that also.
I think the biggest challenge on the TAPS program is, and speaking from my experience, is that teaching the class to say, all right, Daniel, I know you want to get out. It's your role. I know you're not even listening, because I can see you're not even looking. So that's the biggest challenge, is making sure that they get the information. They might be sitting in front of you, but they're not listening. And I'm not saying that rude. Way before, a week before you get it needs to start like maybe 18 months to a year.
Doesn't mean that they're going to go to school right away.
Right.
So a lot of the information that they're getting about going to school, they may not decide to come back to their 2 years. And so all that information, who's really going to read that gap?
Okay, we're gonna take 1 more question, or 2 more questions on this side.
Hi, my name is George Betito, IHO. My question is for the 2 schools. You guys is dropout rate and transferable, and also I want to get the VA's opinion on the for-profits like DeVry, Keller, University of Phoenix. DeVry just a few weeks ago just got dropped from the VA list. I want to get the VA's opinion as far as why should we continue going to for-profit schools instead of junior college and other schools?
Why don't you take that first, Tanya, Christy?
You know what? I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't have those numbers right in front of me, and I wish that I could tell you I knew them off the top of my head. I don't right at this moment. We do track that type of thing. I can give you my card, and if you want to talk, I'll be happy to give you that information. Mainly, the trend that I see is the first and second semester, everybody's motivated and gung-ho, and they're just like, their grades are awesome, and they're really involved, and then you kind of see a drop-off. Maybe there's some issues that they're realizing that they have more issues than they thought would be, or maybe that's just really hard to handle school, family, all of those components. So that's basically the trend that we see. However, we do have areas like that.
We also transfer rate as well. Quite honestly, I have had students get their AA and say they're done with school, and then, they weren't able to go out and get a job, or they found that my AA was in, maybe history, but now I'm really wanting to be an accountant type thing. So they're actually coming back and using their more of their benefit or the transfer. And just the nonprofit versus profit, as a mom, I'm always going to say, go to the college, not the profits. But
Yeah.
Michael, your opinion on the issue?
Yes, the VA has an accreditation process, of course, that every school has to go through, you know, because we're sure that the veteran is getting the most bang for their buck. You know, what they're going to, you know, what they're going to school for is actually going to get them what their desire or their degree or vocational trade, whatever it is that they want to do. So when we look at those schools as to whether or not they meet the criteria of what we have, and if they don't, then they're. As far as my opinion on that, you know, it's whatever the veteran wants to, so that they can go in and they can get that good job that they want. They can get that good house that they want. But as far as an opinion about it, I don't set those rules, so.
Okay, thank you and if you guys have any.
Hi, good morning. Nani Escudero with the Native American Veterans Association, indicating that the majority of the veterans who do go to college are succeeding, and I think it's representative of the amazing resources that you have on campus, such as the peer-to-peer programs and the veteran study groups programs, such as, you know, Fullerton and Cypress. But I'm curious to know, I believe 49% is the national average as far as the veteran dropout rate. Is there any progressive work with to bring the veterans back onto campus, ensuring that they are have full services to the reasons why they're dropping out, which is housing, mental health services, jobs, so forth? Is there any proactive work on the campuses?
Yeah, Christy, I believe we were just on the phone yesterday about getting data.
We do pull that data. I just don't have it in front of my face right now. We actually pull a lot of data because student equity funds, that's really the only way that our VA gives us for certifying per veteran. So for us to do even to buy printer paper, I mean, we use and that money is supposed to be used for training our certifying officials, and we use that to buy ink and printer paper for our veterans. Can help them be successful at school. It's very rare, the training. It's very rare, so I have to really depend on the things that are local and in the community. But we do information, and unfortunately I didn't bring it. And we, because that's that we can ask for funding on campus is to track our success rate, our completions, our transfer, our basic skills like math and English. So we do we do track all of those things without having a permanent staff. Like for my personal Veterans Resource Center, I work there and I also work in admissions and records, which is great for me because I have a lot of access to a lot of information that other serving officials may not have. And then I have one half-time counselor and one 20% counselor. I have no 100%. Can you give us this so that we can do that? And we do the best that we can with what's available to us. So yes, doing outreach and being able to get out more in the community and be able to connect with our vets, I see that in the future. As of right now, it's just not saying that I don't want to do it, but because I'm focusing on actually getting people their benefit. I'm focusing on having tutoring available in the center. I'm focusing on making sure that I have printer paper, you know, that type of thing. Hopefully in the future, I will have a bigger staff and be able to do more outreach.
The one thing that, Christy, that we talked about on the phone was budget. So as the California systems are starting to do, the California systems are starting to track their funding. How much funding the GI Bill and how much funding veterans, being further and further along, they're actually able to extract more and more data. So the biggest thing right now for them that we've run into or that we've seen is limited resources. Like I was explaining to them, I was in Athens, Alabama. There was a college campus about 2 blocks from where we had the memorial set up. And I said, well, we were there 2 weeks ago. She goes, yeah, we only check our messages every 2 weeks. A financial windfall that they receive from veteran GI Bill and the veterans on campus. So when we hold an event on campus and all of a sudden that event attracts 200, 500, 900, or 1,000 or more veterans off of their campus, you would think it would send a message, hey, we really need to put some effort in. And I've seen it actually on their 2 campuses. They still have to fundraise a tremendous amount resource centers than what we've run into all over the country. So
I'm the founder of the Washington. There's only 5% of people, Marines, I'm a combat Marine, decorated combat Marine from Vietnam. There's only 5% of Marines that enter JC. A lot of our clients from the PTSD intake centers, job making $15 to $20 an hour, maybe. Right now, we've given a grant to a sniper, ex-Marine, who went to college, bachelor's degree, 3.97 GPA, the best job he can find, Costco, at $12 an hour. We've given him a 5-month grant to bridge the gap, to move him up a little bit and help him. We know of who have no transferable MOSs, combat, field artillery, and armor. The other 7 to 9 vets that put the degree in combat really sometimes don't need our help because they've got transferable MOSs. So I thought that was interesting and grew up from there. A lot better than $12 an hour with a bachelor's degree at almost a 4.0 average.
If I could just briefly comment on that.
Go
ahead. For those of you that don't know, we have a program called eBenefits that's out there that allows the veterans to go in and file for their benefits online. And in partnership under eBenefits, it also lists on their job opportunities. And the veteran, and it shows them, companies that have agreed to partner in serving our veterans, so that our veterans can go out there and apply for a job with a veteran population. Because you have an individual that's well-disciplined, that's going to report to work every day because they've been doing it time while they're in the military. They understand the chain of command. They understand how to think on their feet.
Any questions for this panel when we break for lunch or when you see them walk around, feel free to walk off and ask them questions. They're here to do that. They're here to answer questions. So I got one more here and I got one more gentleman over there that we're going to go ahead and wrap up for lunch.
Hi, my name is Mo. This question is for housing, legal together, home build versus the ADA versus emergency evacuation procedure. Is the builder responsible to give that front entrance and back entrance zero threshold to go in and out, and also evacuation to get out of the house? Like a backyard, they don't do it. Hardscape, they need to do. Are they is there where builder is responsible to do that?
Maybe some of the ADA requirements. They're building a home. If that's, I have a feeling that
Code enforcement?
on
Is that
code
what you're looking
enforcement.
for, or? I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, Jimmy, if you can come over and talk to this gentleman.
Yeah, because there is
afterwards.
special for your home, more ADA through the VA, and I can come speak with you in reference to that.
Okay, Jimmy's going to come talk. I got to get over here to the next question, okay? He's going to come over and speak to you about it. Go ahead, sir.
Is Rick Owens. I'm a Marine veteran, and I'm here representing the Orange County Rescue Mission. I have a question concerning wait time for VA benefits. So say I enroll in July. I enroll for the semester. Fall semester doesn't start until September. So what we've done, what's the veteran's option in the meantime from July? How does that affect homelessness and dropout?
Michael, why don't you want to take go ahead first, and then we'll ask.
Allowance that they receive as part of the Montgomery GI Bill?
There is no more break pay.
No, break pay went away about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
In between fall and spring, there's 6-week break, maybe 6 or 8 weeks. You're using 6 to 8 weeks of your entitlement and not vacation. So at least on our campus, what our vets always tell when it's getting towards the end of the break, because everybody's counting down the days to get paid, and as soon as we're going down to downtown, but when you first start, I find it used to be, the gentleman on the end earlier, when I first started working, your benefits started, waiting 3, 4, 5 months. You were going to eventually catch up with you, but you were going to have to go before you got paid. They've made tremendous inroads at this point. I would say by the time we have already registration coming up in, I think, June, we start middle of August. I try to have all my vets certified before school even starts. So if you start the middle of August, you're gonna get your first paycheck 30 days in arrears. So then they just try to budget to get through those gaps, like a summer session. We used to offer multiple summer sessions. The vet could pretty much go from spring to fall, and downturn of the economy back then, but the VA is getting caught up, so the faster we can certify you, the faster.
The great thing about California is there is no colleges. They're everywhere. What's really great is being in is that we have a really good relationship with all the schools in our region. So if another school or another campus offers more classes, or they have a full session, you know, we're able to send a veteran to another school for a semester without them having to pick up all benefits and take them over there. We're able to send parent school letters in the summer months or even winter.
It's a big one. A couple, Santa College, a couple other colleges do winter intercession where Cypress and Fullerton. So we send their information. We say this other college, and you can take, so you don't miss a beat there as well. So there are ways to help with that, but there is no break pay.
Okay, you guys, if we we're gonna break for lunch. If you didn't pick up your lunch out there on the counter, this is vegetarian. There's chicken. You can go to get either one of those. Take a break. Everybody, the next 15, please be in your seats at 1. We would like to start at 1:10. It is the legal panel that will be up. It's covering Veterans Court, which you all need to hear because there's somebody that needs it. Very much. Go ahead and break for lunch.